Sup, you fools! Matt, ESC United. It's your favorite Eurovision channel, but you knew that already. Welcome, welcome, welcome to, what do we call it? Destination Eurovision Semi Final 2 reaction video. I'm sure you're just turning off the French national final and come right over here so we can discuss the show. And boy, this was quite the result show. A lot of unexpected twists and turns. So let's go for this one by one. But I don't have to do this alone. And while you're all joining in, I'm going to show you exactly. Dressed for the occasion. Robert, how you doing, my friend? Team of the ESC United contributor editor team, editorial team. Sup?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Wow, what a show that Francis put on for us tonight. I am still stunned by the results. We've seen some shocks tonight, as Matt said, but I'm really excited to have a look into them with Matt and see if we can try and work out what went wrong for some of our favourites. And let's just look at that top four again, Matt. I mean, who has made it tonight? It's quite the shock in some ways.
Yes, it's. I always think by now, because I told you earlier before we went live, I'm like, I've been doing this for God knows how many years, and every single time I get that tummy thing, like, oh my God, I'm nervous, I'm nervous, and so it happened again. Eurotowley, my top two in the final. Dusten and Emmanuel, love you friends, and Sylvain and Bilal. Oh gosh, we have so much to talk about. We're going through this. First, before we go into the details, Robert. What do you think about overall the show? You think, I know you didn't watch the first semi, so this was your first impression of this year's Destination Eurovision. Were you overall satisfied with the quality and just the whole flow of the show?
Oh, I thought that the show was excellent. It was a really well-performed show. I thought that the hosts managed to keep it going really, really well, and the song presentation was spot on. I'm honestly not too sure if I'm a fan of the cover songs that we have at the start of every single artist. However, the show actually works. They have a really neat order of things, and they stick to it. And it just felt really slick, really professional. Yes. Compared to some national finals that we've seen over the years, I think it was one that really worked. And, you know, France is taking Eurovision seriously again this year. It's like last year. There's a lot of strength behind it. And they obviously have a real interest in doing well. And I think it's reflected in the quality of the songs as well. All the artists seem well prepared. And they performed well on the night. And yeah, I really enjoyed the show. Well done, France.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very pleased. And I know, regardless of the outcome in Tel Aviv this year, whether you finish first or dead last, you have a good national final system here and you're doing something. And that's the most important part. So you build on what you had last year. And I think this is even better this year. But I think everyone cares about the song. So let's go for them one by one, from the first song of the evening to the last one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so the first song of the night was actually Gabriella, On cherche encore, Never Get Enough. Very popular with the fans in our poll. The televoters, the readers, our readers of ESC United, they didn't actually technically
call in. Hey, we wish they were televoters.
They can call in as well, but I won't pick up. The readers put in second place, I think, with 24% of the votes. And the juries and the televoters, actually, they didn't put it just somewhere in the midfield, right? In the middle somewhere. And it did not qualify. Your thoughts, Robert?
I think that was the biggest shock. I should be really clear to start with. I am not a fan of this song. It's not my kind of music at all. Having said that, though, I thought it was going to be a song that would easily make it. It's in line with other French entries that we've seen over the last few years in a number of ways. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of, even, dare I say it, fairy tale vibes a little bit. From it, just with the violin side of things. And as a result, it's, you know, it's one of those songs that just seem to be ticking all the boxes, and yet somehow it's just not hit the French in the same way that clearly we thought it would. So yeah, tonight I feel that one's the big shock missing out. I thought she did a good performance in the show, and as you say, she's got a lot of traction outside of it. But yeah, maybe just something didn't click for the French tonight.
Yeah, I was surprised about it as well. By the way, your camera went away for a second, guys, so right now you only see me. But I'll fix that.
Sorry, let's fix that.
Yeah, so I have to see what's going on here. Oh, I think I know what it is. Okay, So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna fix it in 10 seconds, you guys. So I'll talk. Yeah, no. Here's the thing with me. It's usually not my kind of song either, but I acknowledge that it certainly has a specific appeal to a certain demographic. It's young. It feels like something that you would find in the charts, right? It's not something that feels outdated per se. And that's why I was like, well, this is gonna go big with the fans. And I thought the staging was very appropriate. It was colorful. It was just really something that I thought like it's visually catchy. It is vocally it was good. She had a lot of energy. There was a lot going on stage that I really really appreciated. So when I saw it, I was like, this will be definitely a qualifier. I mean, I don't see how people would not like it or like vote for it at least. I'm sure people liked it, but maybe not as many people voted for it. And what I said earlier in the other live stream before, like the prediction live stream, I said that Tracy and Gabriela may actually cancel each other out because they kind of go for the same demographic, you know, that kind of music. It's like modern, young, that kind of style. And I was somewhat right in that both canceled each other out because they got about the same amount of points and votes, right? They were kind of like that far off from one another. I think that is exactly what would have happened. But I still thought Gabriela was going to go through.
Yeah, I did. I had nothing from the show that made me want to change my mind about that. There was one song that I thought I was going to change my prediction about, and unfortunately, you revealed my prediction, so I can't pretend that I magically saw this well in advance. But,
we all got it wrong.
We'll come to that when we come to it. But yeah, I think here that it was clear that both the French voters and the international jurors were not particularly huge fans of Gabriella.
Yeah.
Although, of course, our three jurors on the night, even though their votes obviously don't count, all seem to be quite big fans of hers. So it's quite interesting that those opinions were shared by neither the televoters nor the international juries.
Yeah. So that was very interesting. So just to summarize Robert, myself, the readers, as well as Zach, who was a part of the earlier live stream, we all provided our 4 predictions. And every single one of us, the 3 of us, as well as the readers, thought Gabriella just going to go through. So that didn't happen. So that's a big shocker. I think one of the biggest shockers of the night. Marksva99, thank you so much. Matt here is $3 because I got 3 wrong. It's Zach. Well, I wish you've gotten 100 wrong.
That would have been quite the achievement in a 9-song show.
Next time, get all of them wrong. Thank you. You cracked me up. So yes, we all messed up, but I'm not feeling as bad because at least I have something to back myself. Not all of it, but that was a big surprise here. Gabriella, I'm waiting for the full results. Here they are. So 18 points from the televote, 14 from the juries. It's overall 6th place. So not what I expected, but that's the beauty about this and the sadness, of course. Next up, I don't know if we have a bunch of surprises, but the divas, La Voix de Rita. Did I say that right?
La Voix de Rita. Yes.
So,
yeah, exactly.
La Voix de Rita. I said it the American way, Aretha. La Voix d'Aretha.
You don't generally in French pronounce TH as a th sound, it's more just the T sound. Sorry, I spent a while in France.
Well, you can tell.
In answer to the person who said French stereotypes about the beret, sorry, I didn't have my string of onions and striped jumper on tonight.
I do have some French stuff somewhere, but I totally didn't even think of that. So maybe for next week, for the final, I'm just saving it for then. So a little spoiler alert.
That's the plan.
Anyway, so the divas. Robert, what's going on? What happened? Excited? Surprised? Shocked? What's going on?
Overjoyed would be my genuine first reaction, simply because I'm such a fan of the song. I thought they were simply fantastic. Their voices harmonized so well, and I actually think it came across even better live than it did do in the studio version. And maybe that was just the little push it needed. I mean, it was a shock for me to see it even appearing in the jurors' favourites as they were going through after the 3rd, 6th, and 9th songs, hearing about their top 3s and such. It was amazing to hear them talk about it in such a positive way, because to me, this is the kind of almost a joke song in some respects.
It's an homage, I guess. I think they meant it genuinely, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
that's it. It's interesting. Their backgrounds, they're all 3, as they said during the brief introduction to the artist, they're all 3 from Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the French version of that. They all think of themselves as divas, hence the name of the group. And they're all huge fans of Aretha Franklin. And I think it's really a delight to see it. And
It
I'm
was.
really glad that the French people and the jurors both took it to their hearts.
Yes. That was very interesting because, again, I'm just going back to what we discussed earlier in the pre show. Um, None of us, first of all, nobody, neither Zach, you, or myself, predicted the readers put it in second to last in their predictions. Thought this was going to go through. But here's a little caveat. I said, look out for this one. This could be a surprise.
Yep.
Only because for that reason. To be fair, though, I didn't expect it to go as high with the televoters. I thought this,
No.
if they're gonna have the energy and the charisma on stage and the vocals, jury people love good vocals.
Yeah.
That could go big. And sure enough, I was right about that part. But again, I was still surprised by the televote because I said I don't think the televote will be enough for them to make it into the top four, but it happened. So I knew there
Yeah.
was potential.
Yeah, no, I just thought I was going to enjoy it in the semi-final and then wave farewell to it as everyone else ignored it.
Yes.
So I am overjoyed that I've been proven wrong in that case, and congratulations to them. And I really hope that they can push on and get a good result in the final.
Yeah, I thought something very interesting that Zach mentioned earlier. He said there's no wait. It's not like I'm trying to pick on him, but he made a valid point.
He's not here. We can say what we like.
Yeah, he's in the chat, so I think he's listening. But I really mean it in a way where he said, he doesn't think it's going. It's like stuck in the '80s, right? It's like that dramatic stuff. I'm like, I think that's not working against them. I think
No.
that's working in favor of them. Because that made it pop. They were going all out with the dresses. They looked all like three different Aretha Franklins and kind of like the
Yeah.
style and all that stuff. So they embraced the almost camp factor that they bring along without being too camp, if that makes sense.
No.
It felt genuine enough for it to be
Exactly.
believable.
It's you could, I mean, make the video quality a little bit grainier, and basically you have a 1980s song. And let's face it, the 80s are still huge. There are a lot of 80s
I
songs that
love
are
the '80s music. It's my
popular.
favorite era. I wish I was really more around in the '80s. Like listening
Yeah.
to music because I was.
I wasn't around at all in the 80s, Matt, but I'll leave that on the side, shall I?
You what?
I wasn't around at all in the 1980s, Matt, or should I
I'm sorry,
leave
you're
that
breaking
on the
up. You're breaking up. I think you're losing your signal.
Oh, dear.
The vote. Oh, Lily loves back at ya. Thank you. The vocals, the divas gave us all of Francis invited to the cookout. Oh, what you cooking? Can you smell what the rock is? I know I'm clearing that up right now. Anyway, thank you again. Yes, so again, nobody thought it was going through, but it seems as most people, from what I'm seeing in the chat here and among us, they are genuinely happy for it. It's like a pleasant surprise. I think no
Yes.
one is really like, burp. Any other thoughts on this one?
No, I think that's it. It just seems. I think there are a lot of people sitting in our own little bubbles, going, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if this did well?" And there were enough of us such that it did. So yeah,
no,
really
glad.
chuffed.
I'm glad that they qualified, even to the expense of others. Let's talk about Hugo, Secret
Yes.
Noblesse. I'm gonna go first because my opinion is a little less not polite. I'm always polite, but certainly less favorable. I never liked the song. Right, the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh, this sounds just another song that would go really big in like Melody Festival and kind of thing. It's just not the kind of song that I gravitate towards. And sure enough, Krista Bjorkman gives it like 10 points. Like he loves that kind of music. But
Yes.
I never gravitated towards it. However, I thought it was going to finish in second place overall in my predictions without knowing the staging and all that stuff, right? We got to be fair here. We all would have had a very different ranking. Because I just felt that the teenage girls will go for it. The juries love that kind of music usually. But he was terrible live. And I'm sure he's a nice guy. And maybe he's a really talented singer. It just didn't come across. Number one, his voice sounded strained. He cracked at times. It was unpleasant. His facial expression were like he made almost like he was in pain sometimes. Like I'm like, okay, this is very distracting. And one thing I didn't like either, and that is some of the acts had backup vocals, right? But some used tracks, and he used tracks, and this whole in the back was so silent, and then he sang louder, and it was like, what is going on? It does not mash. You need to have backup vocals that really kind of blend in, and it didn't. And it was just a big mess, and by far at this point, out of the weakest performance of the night, almost I want to say.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, you had to feel sorry for him when, as he was the third song, they went to the jurors and asked them of their favourite so far, And of the three, Gabriella got mentions from all of them, but one of them, Christoph, I believe it was, went for the Divas, but nobody mentioned Hugo. Nobody even talked about him. And I just was like, yeah, that you can already tell that this song is suffering. And I did have him down as one of my qualifiers, in all honesty. I thought this song was going to go a bit further than others. It stood out a little bit more to me. I have to actually disagree with you. I quite liked the vocal effect that they created with the mixture of the backing tracks and his live vocals, but because his live vocals came across so badly, it didn't work the same way it had done in studio for me. I mean, he's got an interesting background. I mean, he's lived in France, then moved to Tahiti. I mean, of all the places to move to, and then back to Paris to further his career. And he said that he was trying to kind of capture a little bit of the Polynesian vibe at times, but I just didn't feel it. And I think overall he was punished for a poor live performance, which in a way is kind of what you need to be having. Because if you're just going to vote for songs based on how good they sound in studio, that's not going to win you Eurovision. Because if you can't kill it on the night, you're not going to get the votes from Europe.
Nope.
And I'm quite glad that he's gone after that.
Yeah, and it was very interesting because we went on camera, not like behind the scenes. We already turned the camera so we can jump on live when it came, and we had a little conversation about it. And you were right about it, actually, because I was like, Hugo's gonna go through, the girls will vote, like, and he's like, this is not Sweden, this is France. The little teenage girls will not just go for it. I'm like, well, we wait and see. I was like, but then you remind, and then oh wait, there's no app voting, so maybe that is true because the parents are like, no, we're not going to pay for this.
Yeah, exactly.
So that certainly probably hurt, but yes, it's true. You need to deliver when it matters, and tonight it matters. Hugo did not bring it, unfortunately, and that's why he was out. People can say, but it's still a good song, but you can't tell really by just listening to it. Although the jury still put it in second place, so that's not that bad, but
yeah.
It didn't.
But that was it. And as Little John UK's pointed out as well, it was only 1 point in it. It is something that was extremely close.
Very close. It was close very much today, completely. Yeah. I mean, 1 point separates the 4th and 5th place, and the 6th place also only 6 points behind. So it wasn't like last week where there was a bigger gap, except for like maybe the top two, but we'll get to that. So that was very, very interesting. So yeah, was really close. And it was, I was thinking, but once I saw Hugo in second place, well, I remember last week, what was her name? Aysat. She finished in second place with the juries, right? And then went dead last with the televoters, only received 6 points, and still qualified in 4th place overall. So I'm like, well, even Hugo, he should be fine, even if he gets a low score. And he was this close, but...
Yep, exactly, but not close enough. So yeah, it was interesting.
So, Lily Loss is saying, it's no shock that Daddy Bjorkman gave 10 points going off the studio cut.
The only thing I'd say that was a shock is it wasn't a 12.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he still gave Simone the 12 points. He knew the hype was behind that there, probably.
Possibly
I'm glad
that
he did,
was it.
though. Absolutely.
All I'd say is, could you see that in Melody Festivalen? Because I couldn't. Not in the modern Melody Festival.
Here's the thing. It could. I could see it. No, not maybe this kind of stuff. It's similar. This felt French. This felt actually really genuinely French. Like some kind of different version, but then he would have put it in slot 2.
Yes.
And then it would,
yes. He would never let it qualify.
Yes. So because we had like very slow songs there before, but then they just don't do well.
No.
Okay, so that's another big surprise, So then Tracy Dessau. Poor Aki will continue with the surprises. Not to me, though, so I'll let you go first, Robert. Tracy, this actually before.
I was
before.
Worried Matt was going to say this.
You what?
I was worried you were going to say this. Make a point of the fact I said this is one of my definite qualifiers.
Yes. No, I was going to say just the results real quick. So the televoters gave it 13 points only, which is like, what, 5th place, 6th place? No, 6th place, something like that? 7th? Juries gave it 2.
Yeah.
See, I do speak French. So overall, Tracy finished in second to last place. That was a pretty big surprise to a lot of people. Not to me, but what do you think? Robert, you said that this one, you thought it was a clear qualifier?
Yeah, I really did. Again, I will have to point out that I'm not complaining that I got this wrong because I am not a fan of this song at all. It was, for me, the worst song in the semi. However, I was really shocked that this didn't make it because I actually thought it was really well presented on stage. I liked her going through the audience to start off the song. I thought that was a really nice touch. And all right, we got that a little bit towards the end in a few of the later performances, but this was the first time we'd seen it in the show. And I thought it was a really, really great way of starting off. And she sounded good. The song looked good. And yeah, as I say, it's not my kind of song in the slightest, but I thought it was a well presented version of that genre. And to see it just get, I mean, maybe the international jurors would be a little bit harder to persuade, but to see it get so few points from the French public was genuinely a shock for me. And I know we've possibly already overused that word tonight, but
I know. But it was a pretty shocking result tonight.
It really was. And so I am really surprised that this has not made it through. And I think we've seen quite a lot of anger from fans for her as well as Gabriella not making it. It seems to have been more popular among the fans than among the French.
Well, and here's the thing. This is my moment to toot my own horn for a little bit. So the readers, Robert and Zach, all said it's going to go through. I predicted no. So I'm the only one who got that one right. So I want to take that moment to celebrate myself, and now I'm done. Now, seriously, the reason why I said that is because I still believe Gabrielle and Tracy were playing for the same demographic, like the kind of music. They're both young, attitude-y kind of songs, right? And I think they kind of split the votes. I thought that Gabrielle's songs would be a little bit more mainstream and more accessible to the masses, and that's why I thought this one would go through and take more points from Tracy. Ultimately, neither of them got enough points to really make it through. But I figured something like this could happen because I expected Tracy to go down with the juries. And that I was right about. I didn't expect the televoters kind of agreeing with that. But I'm not that surprised now after the performance because I wasn't a big fan of the staging. And the way it distracted me so much when she did all this. She switched like the keys like that, boom, 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 boom. It's like la 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 la, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, why do you go down so much? It seems really weird. And I think because the higher notes in are covered by the backup vocals, but it was a track and it wasn't loud enough for it to mash well. So it was very, very distracting to me.
No, that's a fair. Maybe, as I say, not being a fan of the genre to start with, possibly I'm seeing this as kind of, someone who doesn't know much about it, and it's almost the stereotypical to someone who's not a fan of that genre. That's what that genre should look like, and maybe not kind of, to someone who's a little bit more of a fan of that, they can maybe see, no, this is not working, and this is just distracting. It's, almost someone else's idea of what it should look like as opposed to hers.
Yes. No, that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. So again, that was a big surprise, and like all four of them have been surprises so far. Emmanuel, moi, la promesse. And before we actually go into discussing the song, there was we had another stage invader. Neither of us initially saw it, but it happened, right, Robert?
Yep, very true. I didn't see it first time, I have to admit. Had to go back and have a look.
Yes, because somebody sent me a picture, and I'm trying to find that person right now. No, I can't. But basically, he was just saying, don't go to Israel or something like that. And to that. Oh, here it is. It said exactly. The picture is too small. Non l'Eurovision 2019 on Israel. So no Eurovision in Israel, right? That's basically what it means, I would assume.
That'll do that.
Is it close enough? I don't know. So, that's what most people apparently didn't even catch that. But I was multitasking. So, but anyway, it didn't affect him because he won the televote. Barely, but he still anyway. So
yeah, but he still won it.
He still won it. So your thoughts, Robert?
This was the one that grew on me the most live. Having listened to it in the studio version, I was not particularly won over, and I was a little bit surprised that this was the big name of all the semi-finalists. It didn't feel particularly strong as a standout song. However, the story behind it was really interesting. It's kind of a song about it's not exactly about coming out, he said. It's more about accepting that everything was okay with how he'd lived his life. He was somebody who came out almost a decade ago now, and apparently at the time was advised not to by a lot of people around him because it would potentially impact on his career. and he decided to go ahead with it anyway. And he said that it's a song that talks a lot about how he felt that that was the right thing to do. He doesn't want to silence himself. And so the message I thought was good, but the song itself just flopped a bit for me. But then come to the live version, and the staging was really good. It got the message across really clearly, I think, even to non-French speakers. And he sang it well as well. And so suddenly I'm beginning to think, okay, I've messed up here. As we've already said, I said that Hugo was going to qualify, and afterwards I was messaging Matt going, can I change my predictions, please?
And I was like, no!
And Matt is a very hard boss. So, yeah. La Promesse, I think, just, it really shone out live. And I'm sure that there will be a lot of people who have said that it's only got through because he's got a lot of big name recognition. And maybe that has played a part in it, but I think genuinely that was a song that really came alive on the stage tonight, and he deserved to go through, not just because of who he is, but because of what he delivered.
Yeah. Now, I personally I didn't know him until this national final. That's the first time I've heard of him. And I remember listening to the 1 minute clip. And I was like, oh, this is pretty. I really like it when he sings in his head voice. And some people, it's almost like straining and uncomfortable, but with him, it's like soft and melodic. And I was a big fan of that. So it was on my radar at that point for me personally. However, I did not think it was going to qualify initially before the show. Because it's like, I don't think the song will leave the impact needed to really stand out, and Simone will take that kind of vote, the ballot vote, I think, away from him. And then I heard him live, and my jaw dropped. I was like, this won me. I mean, I really liked it. I said in the previous chat as well, live stream, I really like it, even though I didn't think it was going to qualify. So when I saw it live, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This was so it touched me, and I don't speak French, so he could have sang about, I don't know,
his shopping list,
Q-tips. I don't know. Yeah, my shopping list, whatever it is. I'm out of milk. I don't know, but he delivered in a way where I was actually really touched by it, and he meant it, and his voice is so clear, and I was like, so good. So at that moment, it's like, if this doesn't qualify, something is wrong with the universe. And I thought he would do a little better with the juries, actually. He did still okay. I think he finished in, was he in third place with the juries, which is still not bad, but I thought it could potentially even rival Simone. And that didn't happen, but then it won the televote. The heck?
No.
Did you expect that?
Matt, I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt you there, because I think Lily Loves has got a brilliant quote there, and I have to share it with you. Emmanuel's voice sounds like a warm hug. And that is such a lovely way.
It does sound like a warm hug. I wanted to give him a hug. It's like, it's going to be okay. You know? That is so true. That is the best quote of the day. It was, and that's what I'm talking about. It may not be the song for everyone. I get that. Not everyone gravitates to it, but you have to acknowledge that he performed the heck out of that one, and that is what it comes down to. Performing. If you do it well live, the staging was fine. It had some memorable moments, but for the most part, then it was just him doing his thing, kind of being But I like the whole package, and I think he delivered. And I am just thrilled to see it through. Nobody, by the way, none of us, neither the readers, didn't expect this one to go through. That's why everything is such a shocker. So that one is out.
The only thing I could say in retrospect is this is a big name, and it's, none of us are French. We don't necessarily know the French current music scene particularly well. And as a result, I think maybe we were slightly wrong-footed by the fact that he is going to have a bit of a draw because of his name. How much that stands him in good stead? Well, as I say, we will see come the final whether he manages to overtake, potentially lesser-known artists, or if he does end up being left behind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was a really, really good qualifier. It felt like somebody who deserved to qualify based on the show tonight. And as I say, I think we as outsiders to the French music scene can say that with maybe a little more confidence than some who know it better can. To an outsider, it doesn't look like something that just won because of who he was. Yeah.
I think, though, you can make a point there, but I still think even if he didn't have a big name, it was only Pierre from the bakery downstairs. I don't know. I still think he would have qualified. He would have been higher up in the ranking, because I think the vibe was there, the voice was there. So I think he would have
Yeah,
easily qualified with or without his name. You may have a point
exactly.
as far as like maybe he wouldn't have been first in the televote. It was close, but I
Yes,
still think,
very.
regardless of it, he deserved qualification, and it wasn't just because of his name. Is that a fair
Yeah.
thing to say?
Yep. Oh no, I totally agree. Overall, I think that that's the situation that we have here. But he's obviously going to have the accusations that he's just there because he's Emmanuel Noir.
Nope, I didn't know who he was, and I still don't know much about him, except for what I just heard right now. And I was just very smitten by this performance. It touched me, and when that happens with the song, I mean, I was so happy. So I'm thrilled that he qualified. Second place overall, again, in case we didn't clarify, 56 points from the televote. Um, so first place in the televote,
Yes.
28 points only from the juries. I expected a little bit more. Third place overall there as well, but overall second place, and that is
Yeah.
pretty darn good with 84 points. Interestingly enough, the second place from last week, Shimane, she only got 66 points, so that's definitely quite a gap there between first and second place.
Yes, indeed. Although last week I think we had quite the runaway winner, such that the points that a lot of points were drawn towards her, and especially in the televote because it is just a percentage of the total converted. You do have the potential there for runaway winners in a way that you can't have quite as much with the jury votes.
Yes, that is true, and that happened last year with Madame Monsieur. And that's
Yes.
exactly what happens. You don't have a runaway winner as much. And that is fair, I guess. If there's really such a fan favorite that everybody votes for, who are we to...
It doesn't matter
I'm
what
not
the
the jury to stop him, you know?
Yeah.
Now, if it's close, then it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
And of
so...
course, you can't leave Emmanuel Noir without just saying one thing.
Yes.
Who doesn't love a costume change at Eurovision?
I know. Thank you. I meant to say that. I'm like, is he gonna go shirtless at some point? Because he was like, first the arms, then like, wait, then the jacket. I'm like, don't go too far. But yeah,
We've already got two
do
shirtless guys on stage. Do we need a third? I mean,
I know.
yes, but
And I noticed at that moment, he was singing, and then the backup dancers walked up to him, and they're like lip syncing along, and people are like, "Woo!" I'm like, "That's the part you like." It was just really interesting. Yeah, but we gotta have one wardrobe change per national final, bare minimum, please. They should write that in the rules somewhere.
Yes,
All right, next
exactly.
up, Noemi. Say it, Robert. How do you say it?
Noemi. You were
Noemi.
pretty close, actually.
Ma petite famille.
Famille.
Famille. Famille.
Yes, I know
Thank
there's
you.
L's, but just forget that there are L's.
Dead last. 6 points from the televote only. Last place with and second to last place with 8 points from the juries. Overall, 14 points. Dead last. Let me see how many points. Oh, it's not dead last because only the 15th place is only 1 point ahead of her. Still, last place is last place. Somebody has to come last. Shocker, Robert, or is that something you would expect to happen here?
No. There were a couple of songs in this semi, and we're going to come to them both, that I just thought were quite boring and had nothing to recommend them. This is one of them. And it's one of those songs that you listen to, and then 3 minutes later, I can't remember anything particularly noteworthy about it. And that was just how it came across, both on stage and in the studio version. I just felt that this is a song that was a bit lackluster, didn't really stand out, and just wasn't delivered in a way that made me particularly excited or interested by it.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, this coming dead last, really not a shock.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's dead last. I remember listening to the 1 minute clip, and I was like, oh, this is very pleasant. I like it. I wasn't like at my highest up, but I was like, I'm intrigued. I want to know more about it. Then I watched the performance today. Even though she sounded fine, it didn't click. There was something. I'm not sure if it was her energy or just the staging, but I'm like, it's not coming across. I'm not feeling it as much as I wanted to, and that is unfortunate. I have a feeling it's that kind of song that if every viewer would rank it, I don't think most people would have put it in last place. They would be like in 7th or 6th, but the fact is you don't vote for your 6th favorite of the night. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is kind of what happened here with that one. I don't think it deserved last place per se. Am I surprised after the vibe that I was getting today? No, I was not.
It's just not a shock at all. As you say, that's the thing with with a song to get televotes, it has to be the song that you really like. Nobody's going to ring up and vote for their sixth favorite in a field of 9.
Yes.
Even if nobody, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether people hate it or didn't mind it. They're not going to pick up the phone and vote for it.
Yes.
And
People
that's
say,
what
like, a lot of directors, like, of big blockbusters or whatever, even independent movies, like, they hate it when everyone says, I liked it. And, like, I have no one that hates my movie. Like, you want to have haters. Because otherwise, if you just like it, then it's just like, it's okay, but you want to have the good stuff. Because anything that's not perfect, but so amazing will have haters. Look at Netta this year. Last year, actually, already in 2019. So many people hate it. It's like, it's the worst song of the year. How can this win? Because a lot of people loved it. That's the whole thing. You don't want to be somewhere here. That's like the worst place to be in. So that's exactly what happened. I think that was Noemi fell victim to, I think.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. All right, and needless to say, none of us, though, predicted her to qualify. So we got something right here. Woohoo!
Yes.
Time for the reader. So.
I think that's about the first non-shock of the night.
I know, right? The first non-shock. I mean, I wasn't shocked with Emmanuel, but I was pleasantly surprised. But yeah, it's still a surprise. The first non-surprise. Simone, big surprise qualifying, right? That should have been.
Oh yeah, I mean, nobody was seeing this coming.
No, seriously, it's.
I'm going to take my hat off to Simone. I've been waiting all through the live chat to do that because
we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Exactly. Wow, what a performance! My fiance, after listening to these, told me that this is the one to really listen to, and he wanted to know what I thought of this. And boy, was he right in picking my favorite here. It is such a beautiful song. And for me, she was going to qualify from the start. But listening to her live, it just added an extra dimension that I hadn't heard in the studio version at all. And I think she just comes across as such an authentic artist. And it's something as well that's feels very French. And I hate to go for another stereotype, having just literally taken a beret off, but it does very much sound like an Englishman's idea of what a French song sounds like. Yes. If you're going to ask for someone for a stereotypical one.
But can you pinpoint what's French about? I can't. It just feels French.
It is.
it's I can't explain. It is. Like this, you would not hear that from the Netherlands or Poland. You know what I mean? You know when you hear it, that's a French song. Granted, it's in French, but you know what I mean. But even if you just hum it.
Yes, exactly. And it was just, she is such a lovely singer, and her voice is, as they said during one of the jurors said after she'd sung that it was the kind of voice that only comes along like once every 10 or 15 years. And here it is. And she has a very, something that she nurtured and she's really made use of here. And it comes across so, so well. It's a song for her, by her. It tells such a personal story. And she delivers that story in a way that honestly gave me goosebumps when I was listening to it. It was just so beautifully delivered.
Yes, I completely agree. It was raw almost. It was so raw emotions. Like she broke down almost at the end, and it wasn't for show. It was genuine. It was not like I'm going to cry to get some votes kind of thing. It's a very personal song as well. It's about her father, I would assume, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about her father. Yes.
Yeah.
We had the two parent songs in a row.
Yeah, that's true. So it touched me as well. Her voice was raw as well. I mean, she almost because she's like a raspy Adele to me. Yes. It's a little bit so.
The Adele comparisons are valid in a number of ways. I'm not going to start saying that she's going to suddenly release major hits internationally, but keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Yes, there's some vibe here to it, and it was beautiful, and there's a reason why people gravitate towards it. Now, it finished second in the televote. People are saying, you mentioned as well, that Emmanuel may have benefited from the fan vote. We have to wait and see if that is going to happen in the finals as well. But Simone won the jury vote, as I think almost everyone would have predicted, by a landslide. And if this kind of difference happens in the finals, who can stop her? I mean, you could technically, because she's not going to flop in the televote, I'm pretty sure, regardless of it's first or third. But we just have to wait and see the difference. That's what it comes down to in the end. But everyone predicted this one to go through, so this is another non-surprise. 2 non-surprises in a row. So
I know.
It is crazy. And then the next one is, how do you say his name? Dudson?
What you come on,
Dusson?
have a go. Dusson, yes.
Dusson. Dusson with Soir une bonne fille.
Yeah,
With
that's. I think he's getting better.
anyway, that to me, absolutely everything else. I could see the divas. I said divas has what it was the potential. Emmanuel, I knew had potential. Dusson, I didn't see that one coming from a mile. Interestingly enough, I looked at it. I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, he finished fifth in the televote and fifth in the juries, and then finished fourth overall. I think. I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, fifth in the televote and fifth in the juries. And then just the way the points were allocated, he still qualified in fourth place, barely.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was going to happen. So, but it also was this extreme contrast to like Simone's song, like Papa, Papa, and then he's like, all over the stage. So I think that certainly was helpful to him as well. I'm not gravitating towards it, so I'm not. But I appreciated the fun factor that it brought, and I think it's a good. Okay, I'm not trying to be condescending here. A good filler for the finals. It's like the kind of song that really fits in there. It's not going to go anywhere in the finals, I think. But he worked his butt off. They had fun. I didn't quite get the whole, why is that little kid on stage? You cannot bring him to Eurovision. He's too young.
Well, yeah, but then again, it's not the first time that we have songs. I mean, look at other national finals where we have songs that are 4 minutes long and then they cut down for Eurovision, or other times that they break the staging rules and just have to reinvent it. Yes, I was intrigued by that. Apparently, it is not his son who was dancing along with him. It was just, I assume,
a kid that, hey, you do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the kid was cute. It was great. It was nice to see it. Maybe it's a shame that he didn't bring his mum along, but
I know, it's the theme of the night.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, we've had Simone talking about her relationship with her father, and here we have the relationship with her mother. And he said during his artist interview, he hadn't been the best of sons, and maybe not taking his mum a bit for granted. And now he's kind of trying to make it up and give us the message. Maybe the message was the reason this has made it. It's be a good son. I mean, at least half of us can identify with that, I hope. And I mean, all of us can identify. Be a good child. Be good to your parents. They have done a lot for you. And, it's a very positive, upbeat message, even if he's obviously coming from a place where maybe he feels that he's let down his mother. He's taking that experience and trying to make a positive and be a role model for, I think, thinking ahead, his child in the future. And any other sons that are out there. So maybe that's why people tagged onto it. As you say, it's bottom half of both jury and televote, but due to the quirks of the numbers, it qualifies just. But I actually had this as my first alternate qualifier. My third and fourth qualifiers didn't make it, so maybe I made the wrong call there. But I wasn't totally shocked that this made it, given how it came across live. I wasn't too sure about his vocals. Overall, I thought they were maybe a bit dodgy on the live performance, but I think that we were all kind of got into the spirit of the song, and I can understand it just getting enough people across.
I agree with you actually on that one. I actually liked his vocals because I didn't think he was a good singer at first, but his cover version was actually pretty good. I'm like, oh, he can actually sing. That's going to be nice. And then he kind of didn't quite deliver. I mean, he still delivered. He qualified, right? He was not quite as solid when he actually performed his song.
Yeah.
But that is a big surprise that it qualified. But hey, that's how the cookie crumbles, and not much to do about it. And then the last song, and by the way, just to make sure no one predicted that one to go through. None of us, not the readers. No. The readers put it in last place. I put it in last place as far as it's concerned as well. Not like personal taste, but I'm talking about odds.
Well, as I say, for me, fifth, so nearly made it.
But no cigar, as I keep saying.
No cigar.
No cigar.
Yes.
And the last song of the night was Philippe Elise with Madame Le Pas?
La Paix.
La Paix. Okay, so now this song was the last one of the night, and on the studio version, I just can't get enough of the instrumental part. I just want to play that over and over again because it makes me happy. It makes me want to get up and dance. I love me some good accordion. I love me. Give me accordion, make it catchy, make it fun, and I'm in. And that is what exactly that part did. That being said, everything else was bad about it. First of all, Philippe Elise, she cannot sing, can she? She was like off tune almost the entire time. Then she was like talking, singing. It was bad.
Yeah.
And this whole hey, da, da, da. I'm like, what are you doing, woman? And then I was expecting with the accordion, like doing the instrument, it would be more fun. But the lady was playing the accordion was more like, da, da, da. Like it's really fast. You're just gonna be like,
Yes.
la la la. Like this is not bringing the energy. And I
No.
was saying I actually put this one as a surprise qualifier initially because I had to put one surprise qualifier in there. I chose this one because I thought with the great staging, with the right energy, this could actually be a really fun live thing and could come out of nowhere. In the end, it was Juice that came out of nowhere. But after the performance, I knew like, that this is going to go down. I was, let's see, the televoters gave it only 13 points, which is, I think, 7th or 6th place. And then the juries gave it 18, which is then an overall 7th place. Robert, what do you think?
This is probably one of the least shocking results of the night for me. It didn't qualify. It was a very boring song in studio. It was a very boring song on stage. I also agree with you about the singing. I thought that her voice was really mumbled. I kind of could get by with the French with everyone else, and I really struggled to make out what she was saying and what she was singing. Possibly just her accent. But I did not think it came across particularly well. And this is one that we're talking about dancing and things, and I'm just like, to this? It didn't feel like something you could dance to, or
not like that, like the jump, like you gotta fight for your right. I'm like, no, it's gonna be a little bit more swingy, like more melodically dancey, swingy kind of thing, not like in your face like that.
Yes,
I agree with
exactly.
that.
And I think that her story's really interesting because it sounds like she basically almost gave up music. She'd been performing on the streets and things and hadn't really got very far. And then she met someone who actually started believing in her and pushing her forward. But when she starts talking about in her interview about how, getting everyone to dance and dance together, and it's just like, hang on, have I misremembered which song she's going to sing? Because I'm pretty sure that the last one was not one that you'd be dancing to. And yeah, I'm sorry. It just proved me right. Again, nice little message behind it. It's about being at peace with yourself and being at peace with the world. But that doesn't sound like a theme you dance to. And
No.
I think too many ideas that they tried to put in the song, and as a result, nothing really came out. It's not a particularly powerful anthem or anything. It's not reassurance. And it wasn't something that you're going to get up and have a dance to in your living room whilst watching it. So it kind of just fell into a big hole of nothingness. And yeah, as I say, both before the show and after her live performance, I did not think for a second this was going to make it. So yeah, I am not shocked to see it. If anything, slightly shocked it got as many points as it did.
The shade.
Harsh,
the shade. I agree with you. No, so this one is not through either. So that means let's take a look at who get better. So Robert, you got one prediction right, which is Simone. We all got only one right. The readers, I did, da. Yeah, we all got one right on it. It was such an unpredictable semi. That's the beauty about this. I mean, I'm not too shocked about Emmanuel and the Divas because they were like my borderline songs.
Yeah. But I've got Dusson at that point as well.
Yes. So if there are any questions, y'all, you can ask them at ESC United. Oh, there is... Oh, Nikolai, thank you so much. I think France has a strong national final this year. I thought so too, and we're going to add more to that. Thank you, first of all. I thought that all songs, to a certain extent, some did a better job than others, some songs. They put a lot of effort into the staging. They're all unique. They had their props, their backdrops, and their choreography, whatever it is. I thought, even if you don't like the songs, even if someone was vocally, and there were some vocal hiccups there, I thought it was visually, overall, a pretty impressive semifinal. Way better than last week's, actually, where I thought they were underwhelming a lot of the staging. What do you think?
As we said earlier, I didn't see last week's one, so I can't make the comparison to last week's. As a standalone semi-final, I thought it was superb. The flow was right. The songs were really good, and the staging, as you say, I mean, they've made a real effort with the staging, even though it is only the semi-final of a national final.
Yes.
It's not something that's where they're just basically plonked on stage with a microphone and told to sing their song with no form of assistance.
Yes.
And I think it definitely added. I mean, I'm going to throw in Emmanuel into this and say that I think that he is, he really benefited from great staging, and it really came alive on the night. And Dusant as well, I think, were the two that really made the most of being able to do something on stage. It was a great show. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to the final next week and being able to enjoy these songs again and the 4 qualifiers from last week as well. And I think it's going to be an exciting final. I think there's 2 strongs that are clearly the favourites here, and one from each semi.
Because there's a question about this actually. What do you think? Who do you think will win the finale next week? Who do you think? Was it in this semi, or is it going to be someone from the first?
So that's a really difficult question for me to answer, because I'm going to be really honest, and I haven't listened to any of the qualifiers from the first semi.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really sorry. All I can say is that of the 4 that I've heard, I would be surprised if Simone is not the best performer from the second semi. I cannot make a judgment as to whether she's going to win it or not. Given the reaction around Bilal, I will be very interested to see if that hits his popularity at all, or if it actually, the notoriety almost around that stands in his favor or against him.
Yes.
And also, I think it will come down to a large extent to the live performance, because Simone, if she doesn't get it right on the night, I think it's game over for her. I think she needs to deliver there, because it's the kind of song where it needs to be delivered well, otherwise it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I watch both shows, of course, and I'm torn. I do believe in the betting odds and the hype between the 2 favorites, Simone and Bilal. I think they will battle it out. I think the betting odds and the fan polls are correct. I have a feeling Bilal will be the fan favorite and Simone will be the jury favorite. And then it just comes down to, again, like happened today, who's going to get more points and how many more. If a gun to my head right now, I'm going to say Simone. Controversial, I know. Not because there's nothing against Bilal. It's just a vibe, because I do think that she will, even if she doesn't win the televote, she may still pull a second place. And if she wins a landslide jury, I think she has it. That is my opinion, but I don't know. I'm not going to put my money down because I'm too scared about that. Somebody was asking that I love my blanket in the back. If there's a blanket, yes it is. Let me bring it up. Wait, sorry, that did not happen. Okay.
Please ignore what's going on. Ignore.
Hang on, I fell.
Matt is coming back.
I have a map down here and then I slipped on it. Here is the blanket. If you can see it, it's a thing. I love to travel, and so we figured that's a cool blanket to have. Yes, and now I totally ruined my back view. Anyway, that's what it is.
Yes.
So any other questions? What?
One thing I was just going to add about the final, kind of agree with you that I know I haven't heard Bilal's song, but if I was going to be asked to put money on it, I would probably also go with Simone, simply because I don't see many people who voted for Simone tonight are going to still vote for her in the final. And yes. I don't know if Bilal's going to be... I mean, maybe there are enough people there who still will follow Bilal, but I just think that Simone is going to have enough support in the televote so that even if she doesn't win it, as tonight, she will still be able to get the points that she needs to win, combined with the jury vote, which, again, I would be surprised if it doesn't swing pretty much universally behind her, given it is the kind of song that we traditionally associate with doing well with juries, if it's well delivered on the night. And that, I think, as I say, is the critical point.
Yeah, actually, you nailed it. I have nothing else to add to that one, so good job. Jeffrey's asking, did they fix the sounding today? The microphone sounded much better than last week. I'm going to answer that because he didn't watch it last week. I completely agree. It feels... There's still some issues, especially with those where they didn't have proper backup singers. It still didn't mash well, but it was way better than last week. There were so many issues last week, Robert, at least with the sound mixing between the vocals and the back and with the music. it sounded off. So I feel as they definitely improved upon that. So, Matt, you're amazing. Yes, I slipped. I didn't quite fall, which is good because I realized there's scissors on the ground. If I would have stabbed myself here on camera, it would have been really awkward.
Yes.
And painful too, but mostly awkward. And so yes, so let me see. Is there any other questions? Did there? We got answer that one. Gabriela was robbed. We all agree it was unexpected, but that's how it goes sometimes. The fact that La Promesse got more televotes than Simone and Chimène coming second, both are famous in France, just makes Ross win even more clear. You need to be careful with that kind of comparison. I see what you're saying, but you can maybe the two stronger songs were in this semi, and therefore they were battling for the televote, while Bilal maybe didn't have as much competition in the first one, therefore he got way more votes. Now that they're all going to be in the same final, that could completely change things up, and maybe a lot more Bilal fans watched the semis and voted for him, and it's very difficult to say. And keep in mind, Madame Monsieur won with a larger televote margin than Bilal, so I don't count it out just yet. And we don't know what the juries are going to do.
No, indeed. I mean, the juries were very strongly behind Bilal as well.
But they're different the jury members every time, so it may not be the same people voting.
Exactly. So, no, thank you, Anthony Johnson. That is spot on. As Matt says, we just don't know who the jurors are going to be necessarily. It could be totally different. They could be all huge Bilal fans. They could all be huge Simone fans.
France, call me.
I'm also free. I'm closer.
Oh, well, I can do it like satellite. I mean, they're not there physically either.
Yeah, I know, but at least I can speak a bit of French, Matt, and we've already proven that you struggle a little bit with this.
I know. Sur le pont d'Avignon, lonely danse, sur le pont d'Avignon, lonely danse tout au rond. Something like that. Did you understand the word I was saying?
Bridges of Avignon?
Yeah. I said that. Something about the
bridge. There we go. Well done, Matt. Okay, I can't. I've got to remember. He is my boss, so got to behave.
Je suis français. No, not I. Je suis. I messed it up already.
Okay. No, you didn't. You were actually right.
Je suis français. I am. Oh, I guess. Okay, I thought my name was French. No, it's I am French.
No,
okay.
That's je m'appelle.
Oh, je m'appelle. That's right. It's been too long. Anyway, I'm just being silly right now. We've kind of wrapped this up here. Thank you, everyone. Robert, you'll be back, right? Thank you so much for joining us.
I will be back next week for the final, and then I'll actually be able to answer questions about my favorites because I will have seen all of them.
Oh, that is true. That is true. And thank you, everyone. I know a lot of you are sad, but that's part of the Eurovision drama. The season, you know, songs will make it, songs will not. And I get nervous every time, as I pointed out, but I have come to accept the results. And keep in mind, we said the same thing last week. Even if your favorite doesn't win, it's not going to Eurovision. The song still exists. They're not going to wipe it off YouTube or Spotify. It's going to be there for you to listen to for the rest of your life. So,
exactly. So enjoy the songs that you loved, even if they've not been able to make it through to the final. And remember, only one song is going to represent France at Eurovision. So as much as our favorite, Matt and I have both discussed, we've got favorites that have gone through. Will they win? Heck, we might have already seen the winner last week. And, you might have already seen